Big breaking update from Maharashtra. New Maharashtra cabinet announced Devendra Fadnavis will hold the key portfolios. Some of the key portfolios will be held by Devendra Fadnavis, which include home, finance and planning, as well as law and justice, water resource and several other portfolios such as housing and energy. In fact, several other leaders who've been given portfolios include Radhakrishna Vikhe Patil, who gets revenue, animal husbandry and dairy development. So, big breaking update from Maharashtra. After close to 40 days of forming the government, finally the portfolio allocation has happened. In fact, Devendra Fadnavis gets some of the prime portfolios, which include home, finance and planning, law and justice, water resource, housing, energy. Radhakrishna Vikhe Patil holding on to revenue, animal husbandry, dairy development. Sudhir Mungantiwar, forestry, cultural activities, fisheries. Chandrakant Patil, higher and technical education, textile industry, parliamentary work. Vijay Kumar Gavit, tribal development. Girish Mahajan, village development and Panchayati Raj, medical education, sports and youth welfare. Gulab Rao Patil, water supply, sanitation. So yes, so finally the portfolios have been allocated in Maharashtra. We know for a fact that just a few days back, the ministers had taken oath. 18 ministers had taken oath, which include 9 from Shinde camp and 9 from BJP camp. We have Shweta live with us. Shweta, it's been 40 days since the government has been formed. We saw the oath-taking ceremony taking place last week. Now, finally, the much-awaited allocation of ministers has happened. Take us through who has gotten what.
Well, that's absolutely correct, Radhika. In fact, on August of 9th, we saw that 18 ministers have sworn in, and now we have 20 ministers in Maharashtra, out of which 9 are from BJP faction and the other 9 are from Shinde-led Shiv Sena. And here it was much awaited to see, in fact, the portfolio allocation which has come now. This is the latest what we are bringing for our viewers. First name which comes is of Radhakrishna Vikhe Patil, and he has been given the animal husbandry department. Now next comes is Sudhir Mungantiwar. He has been given the forest department and the fisheries. Then comes the former state BJP president, that's Chandrakant Patil. Now he has been given the education department, and after that it's Vijay Kumar Gavit. He has been given the tribal department. Along with this, a very close confidant of Devendra Fadnavis, he is Mr. Girish Mahajan. He has been given the portfolio of the Education and Sports Department. Then comes Gulab Rao Patil with the Cleanliness Department. Then comes Dada Bhuse, and likewise Sanjay Rathod have been given about the Medicine Department. There are 18 names altogether, but yes, the very important names comes along with Deepak Kesarkar. He has been given the Marathi language department. Earlier, this department was also with Subhash Desai, again from the Sena camp. Talking about Abdul Sattar, he has been given about the ministers and the minority department. And then Shambhu Raje Desai has also been given the portfolios. And then it comes to Mangal Prabhat Lodha. He has been given the environment department, which was earlier with Aditya Thackeray. So yes, important portfolios we are seeing. Abdul Sattar has been given the agriculture department. Remember, it was time and again been said that whether all the major portfolios would go to BJP or it will come to the Sena faction. But here we are seeing the equal distribution of portfolios which has taken place. Also, if we just see, Uday Samant has got into an industrial department. Earlier, when we talk about the MVA government, he was on the educational front. And likewise, we are seeing certain names. Very important is Mangal Prabhat Lodha. He has been given the environment and as well as the child and women department as well. Earlier, this was with Aditya Thackeray. So yes, this new cabinet expansion with their portfolio in the state of Maharashtra has finally taken place, but it is again the first phase. There are yet again few ministers to be inducted and the portfolio would be expanding. Radhika.
All right, so many more ministers to be inducted. It's just the first phase. However, and you know, as you were mentioning, there is equal distribution of portfolios. Yet, as predicted, Devendra Fadnavis gets home and finance. So this is something on the predicted lines, isn't it, Shweta?
Well, absolutely, Radhika. This was somewhere read between the lines. In fact, when this entire Maharashtra political drama was happening, one for the fact knew that Maharashtra's Devendra Fadnavis would be getting some strong department, and here he is handling the home department. And it was seen that just to ensure that there is none biased kind of thing, that majorly BJP is holding all the important departments here. We are seeing the allocation are out. The allocations of portfolios has been done, but very importantly, the home department goes to Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, and the urban department, when it comes, it was very well known that as Mr. Eknath Shinde, when he was into the former government of MVA, he was handling urban development there. So yes, few of the things were known between the lines, but now when 18 ministers have got their portfolios, it will be important to see what next is in the cards for the other ministers and when the induction would take place.
All right. Also, Shweta, take us through the criticism that this new government had to face over the last several days. In fact, the opposition had been stating that this is a scooter government, scooter cabinet, because for the longest time, it was just Eknath Shinde and Devendra Fadnavis holding those cabinet meetings. There weren't any ministers. So therefore, they did face a lot of criticism in the last several weeks. So perhaps now these critiques can be silenced now that portfolios have been allocated.
Well, that's correct. In fact, on the 40th day, the cabinet expansion took place, and before that, there were 4 cabinet meetings which happened, Radhika, where only CM and Deputy CM were present. But it's not only that, there were 8 important decisions were also taken, for an instance, about the fuel price reduction. So
All right,
every
Shweta, hold on to that thought. We have Manisha Kainde of Shiv Sena with us. Ms. Kainde, so finally the portfolio allocation has happened. What are your first thoughts on it? Some of the prime portfolios going to BJP, which includes home and finance, going to Devendra Fadnavis. So how do you react to the portfolio allocation as far as the first set of 18 ministers are concerned?
Well, it is not at all surprising. And they all of them who left Shiv Sena and formed a separate group, they were all, 8 of them were ministers having important portfolios. So what is the final achievement that they have? They have got nothing except the same portfolios, or even lower than that. So I don't know what objective has been attained, what has been obtained by them. So I mean, it is just that they wanted to topple the MVA government. They wanted Honorable Uddhavji Thackeray out of the chair of the CM's post. And I don't know what point they have made by doing all this. I mean, it just shows that the BJP has simply hijacked the government and made fools of all these people.
All right, so you're saying that they've hijacked the government and made fools of these people. However, over the last several weeks, Ms. Kainde, you've been time and again stating that this was a scooter government. The cabinet was not full. Only Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde were taking cabinet meetings at least about 5 to 6 times. It was just both of them, and therefore the cabinet was not complete. Was a criticism that you'd been leveling at the newly formed government. But now that finally the allocation has happened, there will be full sitting in the days to come. So don't you think you'd want to wait and watch as to how the cabinet is going to function in the days to come? Of course, this could silence the critiques at the moment, because we know that it's after 40 days that this has happened, but it has finally happened.
Well, there is so much of discontent and frustration within all the 40 members. I don't know how they are going to work for the betterment of Maharashtra. They are just going to fight between themselves, and there will be just 1 or 2 people taking the decisions, and the decisions will come from Delhi. Because 8 times the CM and the DCM have gone to Delhi for every little thing. So it's going to be, Maharashtra is going to be a centrally ruled state, a BJP ruled state. Earlier they used to mock Congress party, that it is a centrally ruled party. But I think BJP is no different. The party with a difference is not the same now, and it's just going to be a party with differences.
All right. Also, time and again, the newly formed government have been saying that this is the mandate of the public. It had always been this natural alliance of the BJP and Sena. However, as far as Uddhav Sena is concerned, you all have been saying that this is not a natural alliance. This is not the mandate of the public. So there has always been, this debate about, what is the natural alliance, what is people's mandate. But Ms. Kande, going forward, now the actual fight is who does Sena belong to? So how confident are you about the hearing that is taking place in Supreme Court? Because if that goes in your favor, then perhaps whatever has been happening over the last 40 days will have to go back, so it doesn't stand. So how confident are you about this entire matter that has been taken up by the Supreme Court? Do you think that the real identity of Sena will be preserved with Uddhav Thackeray?
Well, they are trying to show that they are the real Shiv Sena. They are making such comments. They have started opening shakhas. But the response is very lukewarm. And I differ, and I would request you not to call it Uddhav Sena. It is the Shiv Sena. And the other group which has defected, it is the Shinde group. I would like to correct you and be consistent with this terminology. So, we are sure that the Supreme Court will do justice. And finally, whatever said and done, of course, the symbol will also remain. The bow and arrow will remain with the original Shiv Sena, but the other is just a broken fraction, which is called as a Shinde group. And we are sure that we will retain the bow and arrow. And I don't see any future for this government.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Kande. Now, let's go across to Majid Memon of the NCP. Mr. Memon, as far as the allocation is concerned, finally it has happened. Some of the plush portfolios being taken by the BJP, which could be on predictable lines, of course, home and finance being taken by Devendra Fadnavis, and of course, a division of portfolios have happened between Shinde Sena as well as the BJP. What's your first reaction? How do you read the allocation of portfolios that have taken place?
Well, although Shinde has been made chief minister, but he is under the thumb of BJP, because you see, it seems that Devendra Fadnavis and his party BJP are on driver's seat, and it is just a formal appointment of chief minister, that is the broken Shiv Sena. The home ministry, the other plump ministries have all gone to BJP, which only is a matter of embarrassment for the chief minister. But the chief minister is helpless, and he has to follow the dictates of BJP, which will very soon emerge with the functioning of this new cabinet. As a matter of fact, the whole fate of this government is hanging, you see, in doubt, so long as the Supreme Court does not decide about it. And therefore, these are all tentative arrangements, and I'm afraid whether this government would last for its term till 2024.
All right. So you're saying that this government is a tentatively arranged government because, of course, this matter is going to be heard in the Supreme Court. In fact, it is being heard in the Supreme Court, over the last few weeks. So therefore, Mr. Memon, now that, of course, government formation happened almost a month ago. And then, of course, now the portfolio allocation. Now, don't you think that this new government should be given the chance, should be given the opportunity? Now it's no more the scooter government or scooter cabinet, as you'd call it. Finally, of course, they also say that this is actually people's mandate. Time and again, BJP had been saying that they have come back to people's mandate. It's always been BJP Sena that the people of Maharashtra had voted for, and this is a natural alliance.
No, but you see, BJP also knows, in their heart of heart, they know it, that whether this is Sena or not is again under doubt. It's under a cloud. Whether this is true Sena or a false Sena, that matter is yet to be, you see, it is sub judice. And therefore, the risk that has been taken by BJP is that believing this to be a true Sena, they have made them a partner. But Shindeji, although the chief minister's position is occupying, but he has been subject to dictation from BJP, which is what so very obvious by these revelations of allotment of portfolios. And I think as the government will be working, as the cabinet will be working, we will find that BJP will try to suppress this broken portion of Shiv Sena, and Shindeji will have to work under Deputy Chief Minister.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Memon, for joining us. So you are saying that this is going to be a tentative government. Things will be clear only once there is a verdict by the Supreme Court on who the Sena belongs to. Thank you so much for joining us. So the crucial portfolio allocation has happened in the state of Maharashtra. This after more than 40 days of government formation. In fact, we saw oath-taking ceremony take place just last week, whereby 18 ministers had taken oath. And now, of course, portfolios have been allocated.